Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name's Dave and I work in financial services, and these videos are a mixture of my journey and development towards financial freedom and financial independence. There will be a mixture of financial products and also some videos about improving your financial well-being, so hopefully you can reach your aims and financial goals in future. Remember, if you like the videos, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel so you can reach a wider audience. Now let's get in with the latest video. Now this video is not to boast or brag or to look at me. It's to make people aware, okay? I have just reached an important financial milestone. I have become what we call a net millionaire. So my assets are worth over £1 million. It's more up to the message, if I can do it, you can do it. So as I said, we've reached the age of 50, a significant milestone moving forwards. And just a bit quick background into my personal circumstances. I've been with my employer since 1990. I had 25 years in a defined benefits pension scheme till it closed down. They offered a new scheme where I was putting 10% and they were putting 10%, so a very attractive scheme compared to auto enrolment. It's paying about £750 a month. I was earning a salary of £38,000 doing shift work, so I did 8 weeks work, 2 weeks off. So very good for teenage children growing up, but I was in a very happy and comfortable position. And then one fateful day on the 5th of September 2016, happened to be my wedding anniversary, so the day sticks in my mind, but the management brought in a proposal. They were going to bring in new employers on a salary of £12,000 less than my current position. They were going to put us on a pay freeze, and they were going to increase our hours, so we did so many shifts on banked hours. So on that basis, it made me revalue my current scenario and did I want to work for that company in future. So we made an application for voluntary redundancy. But as part of the process, it then made me reflect on my future. My current plan was to carry on paying 10% into my employer scheme. They were going to match it to 10%, and I was quite happily going to retire at 55. But I'd always saved money, I'd always invested money, but I didn't have a clear plan. And then as part of the restructuring process, okay, the process took 3 years to implement. So it wasn't until August 2019 that I left my previous employer, but it made me revalue where I was investing, where I was saving. And then it made me think, well, I'm never going to be in that position again. I will work on my terms in future. If I want to work, great, I will work doing what I want to do. But no employer will put me in that position again. So it made me revalue my investment themes, my investment journey moving forwards. Now, if we look at the following charts and graphics, it will give you an illustration of where my assets are held and the aims moving forwards. Okay, so our main, shall we say, sector is looking at our current existing in property. So our main residence is worth £400,000. We bought that in 2010 with a plan to be mortgage free before the time we retire. At the moment, mortgage outstanding is £44,000. One part will be finished in 4 years, one part will be finished in 7 years, but we are making overpayments of 10%. Now we could pay our mortgage off tomorrow, but it's a pointless exercise. Both mortgages on that property are interest rates of less than 2%. So we can earn more through investing from our stocks and shares ISA. So we are paying capital each month of £550, but it will be paid off very shortly. 7 years at the worst case scenario, but we will pay it off in a much quicker time frame. Through some kind of fault, we inherited a family property worth £180,000. No mortgage outstanding on it. We own with our 2 brothers. Our share at the moment, his third share, is £60,000, but it does give us some buy-to-let income. And we own another property, again with my 2 brothers, third share, worth £150,000. My share is worth £50,000, but we do have an interest-only mortgage of £80,000 outstanding, so my share is £26,667. It's done for tax reasons. We can reclaim the interest In a worst case scenario, we will sell the property down the line, it will fund our retirement and it will clear the mortgage. So if we look at our property or portfolio, 510,000 in property, we mortgage of 71,000 nearly, 439,000 net property makes up 42% of our portfolio. Now, if we look at our liquid assets, what we call assets we can get very quickly in a worst case scenario, quite a mixture of assets, but we have simplified them in the past few years. So we've always saved, we've always invested, but we've never really took any interest until recent years, say in our mid-40s, to try and put some kind of plan in place to hopefully give us the early retirement, which was an option we were looking to do. So at the moment, we own £3,000 in a building society, getting about 0.5% interest, but it's done for an emergency fund. In a worst case scenario, there is cash which we could get instantly. We do own some peer-to-peer lending. We did have a lot more money at the moment, but down to £810. Across 27 loans, it will be finished by 2025. It was given a return of about 4%, and each month, when we get the interest, it is reinvested elsewhere to simplify it. But it was done for a reason, to diversify, but rates have reduced since we took out them products. So ultimately, that holding will diminish and it will reduce. One thing we have bought this year, though, 2021, is cryptocurrency. We've invested £2,000. It's now worth £2,550. We will increase it moving forwards, and one thing we do is what we call staking. So at the moment, we've got it on 2 cryptocurrencies. One will give us 2%. We tie it in for 3 months, and another one is giving us 12% return again if we tie it in for 3 months. One thing we do hold is premium bonds. Now in the past we did have the maximum holdings of £50,000, but it was giving us an annual return around about £500 a year. We were, as a bit of cash fund, was a return of 1%. Quite happy. But then in December 2020, they reduced the rates of the Pride Fund from 1.4% to 1%. We've started not winning as many prizes, but one thing we have done, we are disinvesting from premium bonds and we are increasing that money on a regular drip feed basis into our stocks and shares ISA, which has given us much better returns, and it's in a tax-free environment. Now on that basis, our largest percentage of our liquid assets is in our stocks and shares ISA, £58,500, putting in about £1,000 a month and ad hoc payments. So for this year to date, for the tax year, we've put in £17,000. We will put in the maximum of £20,000 by April. So the first time ever, we will use our full tax-free allowance. A mixture of shares, a mixture of funds. We're aiming for about 10% return year on year. And for this year, for 2021 to date, a return of 16% for this tax year. But that will be our main drive moving forwards. We're going to build up our stocks and shares ISA because it is tax-free and it is a simple investment. And then an awesome investment we do, we started up an investment club with our friends 20 years ago. We were putting £30 a month, now putting £50 a month. The portfolio has had some very good years, had some very bad years, but it's now worth £105,000, mainly through the power of compounding over the last 20 years. And it has given us some very good dividends which we reinvest. So for my portion of that holding is around about £21,000. So if we look at our total liquid assets, a very nice position of 110,860. Now we have always saved, we have always invested, but it's only been the last few years since the dramatic change in our employment we've actually started making the assets work better. So we keep very little in cash, and as I said, we're investing in stocks and shares and funds. which will hopefully give us greater returns, all within a tax-free environment. Now, if we look at the last portion of our assets, what we call our pensions. So we do have at the moment 3 pensions. We have simplified them. We do have what we call a self-invested personal pension. It come about from an old AVC with our previous employer. When our final salary scheme closed down in 2013 to leaving that employment in 2019, we had a group personal pension, so we transferred it to simplify it. And we also invest £100 each month from our buy-to-let income to hopefully increase that pot. Because if I put £100 in, the government will have tax relief. They will give me £20 every month. So it's a return in a way of 25%, which is a much better return than the banks or building societies. Moving forward, we do aim to increase that to hopefully build up the pot. But a very nice pot, £98,000. So again, just like our ISA, shares and funds held, aiming for a year-on-year return of 10%. This year to date, we are at 30% up to the end of September. Our next scheme is our current employer scheme, what we call an auto-enrolment. So I put 5%, they put 3%. Only around about £200 a month, but in my opinion, it is free money. It pays less tax than an IFU salary sacrifice. It's worth about £5,000. It will grow steadily and slowly before we do leave our current employment, and then at a later date, we will transfer that into our SIP account to keep it simplified and have one larger pot we can manage more easy. And then our largest portion of our pensions is our previous defined benefit pension scheme. I was actually a trustee on the scheme for 13 years before leaving that employer, and it was giving me a guaranteed pension at 65 of around about £10,000 a year. Now, on leaving employment in 2019, we got a transfer value was around about £281,000, so 28 times our annual pension. We were curious to get an updated valuation, so we did get a transfer value recently, and it shot up dramatically to 378,000, round about 37 times. So at the moment, we're in the process of transferring that away from a DB pension. Okay, it's safe, it's secured, but we're going to put that with my financial advisor because it's a requirement. I need financial advice to transfer, and then ultimately I will put that into my SIP account and I will invest it. It was done for a reason: 1, to give me greater growth, but 2, to give me flexibility. I can access that if I wish at 55, 57 or 60. At the moment at 57, but it's given me the choice or freedom to access it before 65 when I'm stuck with taking it in its existing format. And if we look at our pensions, okay, £481,000, 47% of our portfolio. Okay, we cannot access them to 55 at the earliest. Will be increased to 57 through government rules to keep in line with state pension. But it's more of the message. If I can become a millionaire, you can become a millionaire. You just need a plan in place. Now, I was quite happily bumming along to my mid-40s. I was on not a great salary, but I was happy. I've got a comfortable home. I had the second buy-to-let property. I did save, and at the moment I save about 15 to 20% of my net pay. But it's more to give people a view. If I can become a millionaire, you can become a millionaire, whether it's at 40, 50 or 60. You just need to get a plan. You just need to implement that plan and put it in motion to suit your retirement or financial needs in future. Now remember, if you like the videos, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel so it can reach a wider audience, and we'll see you again in our next video.